Left of the box. And I say that a lot with Canada too, that we need to start preparing for Pierre Poilievre being in power, because if Justin Trudeau stays as leader of the Liberal Party, we're looking at a conservative sweep. It's, and I would much rather have Justin Trudeau in power again with the Liberals than to have Pierre Poilievre in power, because we're doing a lot of what the United States is doing. It just looks different. We have the notwithstanding clause that Pierre Poilievre has already suggested he'll use. And again, we're not perfect when it comes to a lot of things. We're doing better. like, like that's the thing that always kind of bugs me when you see these surveys out there about like, oh, the best country, the greatest country in the world, and Canada's usually up near the top and stuff. All of that is bullshit. There is no such thing as the best country. There are countries that are the best for certain people, but there's no one country that is better than everyone else for whatever reason. You know, the United States isn't better than everyone else for whatever reason, because you have to look at, there's so many factors that go into it. It's kind of like when it comes to IQ testing and intelligence. Yes, I do. I'm attracted to intelligent people, but what makes a smart person? You know, what makes an intelligent person is often a construct, because, you know, you can have somebody that is super smart in math, but can't tie their shoe. You know, somebody who is articulate and is creative and can read and write and knows all this stuff, but can't spell to save their life. You know, who can't read names and places very easily. So it's possible to be smart in some areas and not in others. So then does that make you a smart person? You know, what qualifies a smart person then? Because if you're really smart here, but then really not smart there, are you still a smart person? So a country can be really good here, but then really horrible here. So are they really a great country? Well, it depends on where you fall. You know, what was your family that you were born into? What color are you? What's your religion? What was your economic status that you were born into? All of that plays a factor into whether or not you live in a good country. Because these surveys tend to go out to business owners and upper middle class people and stuff. And if you're in the upper middle class, Canada rocks. Like, Canada's an amazing country for you if you're in the upper middle class, white. If you're not, but at the same time, even for somebody like me who is living with dire poverty, suffers from disabilities, I recognize I'm better off in this country than I am in most other countries. That if I had to live and grow up in the States, I'd probably wouldn't have made it this far, just given healthcare and, you know, mental health care and what going to the emergency room because you're in crisis means down there. But, you know, ask Indigenous folks. Canada is a horrible genocidal country, because it is, you know. There's no way around that. So, as I usually say, I'm not proud to be Canadian, I'm grateful. But I am grateful because I'm white and I'm able to access certain services that keep me floating. I don't come across as queer when I'm walking down the street. I don't come across as disabled when I'm walking down the street. So I don't have those going against me. And so I'm very grateful to be where I am. But that doesn't make Canada a good country. Because I used to have a lot of pride in this country. You know, Canada Day just happened, July 1st, for you Americans out there. And I used to celebrate it with pride. I went to last year's, but that was because it was more of a response to the hate attack that happened to the queer community just a couple days earlier. I wanted to go with my queer flags out to let people know that I wasn't afraid to still celebrate. it's a mess. Like, there's no such thing as a great country. All countries have blood on their hands. You know, countries were made through violence, through occupation, through wiping out other groups, putting up borders, denying people access who normally had access. Like, all of it. Like, I'm for the day where there's like no borders, abolish all borders. I'll go that far. We're nowhere near that. It's not even something I would even advocate for at this point because it's too far fetched. But all countries have bloody histories. But playing this game of like what's better than the other, some are better for some people. That's it. Some countries are better for some people, but no country is better for everyone. And some countries are worse for some people. And well, there are some countries I could say would be worse for everyone. There are some countries like that. Because we live in horrible times. But yeah, it's basically right now we just need to start preparing for what we see right in front of us. And it's okay to just take a break from the horror that I see in Canada and the coming wave here to say, hey, Americans, we care. There's not much I can do up here other than offer support. Except, you know, if you're single. I'm not married, so, you know, if you start wooing me now and have proof that you've wooed me and all that sort of stuff, then you might be able to eventually marry me and come up here so I can offer some one person sanctuary if you start now. Because it's actually still very hard to immigrate to this country through marriage, unless you can prove that this is more than just, you know, somebody escaping to this country. It's not easy. So all I gotta say is, all you suitors out there, just start now. Just start wooing me right now.